Do you guys have a drink? I have one. I'm having a little cocktail. Thank you. You look fabulous too. Hi, Jonathan Wald. Hi, D's Nuts. That's someone's name. Someone's name is D's Nuts. So did you guys get to watch the episode? I hope you did. It's a really, really great episode with all of the guys I call the MAGA Army. They were on YouTube tonight, and these guys were really helping me out. Did you have a wonderful honeymoon? I have not. Who is that? Carrie Alexander. Carrie, I have not, because I haven't honeymooned. I'm honeymooning in June, and I think we're going to go to Italy, but I have not had a honeymoon yet. I have been working because I'm starting a new show, and I want it to be great. That was awesome, Sherry M. I know you were watching because I remember responding to you on the thing. I wish I could hear you guys, right? That kind of sucks that I can't hear you guys. Kiwi, Cars. It wasn't good at all. Why didn't you like the episode? Did you have an issue with something? Tell me. Hi from California. Who is that? But anyway, just so you guys know, at the top of this, I had a little technical difficulty. So if we do put it on the site, I'll just put it up raw, just like it is. It's okay. We're all learning. Peggy, Elias, thank you very much. Michael Riley, yes, it's great to be back. I'm happy to be back as well. And I'm really, really enjoying this platform, and I'm enjoying the freedom. What's your political beliefs, if you don't mind me asking, Don, from Gregory Shavers Jr.? My political beliefs, well, I'm an independent. And if I would have to say that pretty much as I am as close to the center as possible, people think that I'm left because, during the last administration, I had to call out the administration a lot because there were so many lies. And people think when you point out lies, that you are, that you may be to the left or something, I guess, of past administration, because the truth wasn't on their side. But before the Trump administration, people actually thought that CNN had a black conservative on because I didn't always agree with the left on certain things. But I do have to say, in the current times that we're in, the only party that's really believing in holding up democracy is the Democratic Party. So while I am not, I don't belong to any political party, the one I believe now that's holding our country in place and holding our democracy in place are the Democrats. Thank you, Sean Pepin. Congratulations on the newlywed. Don't look greasy on camera too. Turn off the comments on your uploads. I don't know what that means. I'm going to definitely watch it. Yeah, I hope you watch the episode. Hi, Tim. Good to see you. Oh, Tim, they saw you in the background fixing the stuff on the thing. I miss you and Cuomo's handoffs. Do you guys keep in touch? Huge fan. I miss our handoffs as well. I have not spoken to Chris. He is a good guy, though, but I'm sure we'll be doing something in the future, maybe a collaboration, maybe you'll see a reunion, but I haven't spoken to Chris in a while. I've been busy doing this, and we just haven't spoken in a while. I'm so glad that you're a fan of mine. Joseph Raymond Birchall Antonio. My God, that's a long, long name. We still don't talk about the Black agenda. Why? Explain to me what you mean by that. Environmental Canadian. No, that's not environmental Canadian. Who's asking about the Black agenda? Explain to me. Oh, that's Henry Gibbons. What do you mean about the Black agenda? You mean what helps? We talked about things. D.L. Hughley and I talked about things that affect the Black community a lot on the program. If you haven't watched the D.L. Hughley episode, then you're missing out on that. We do actually talk about that. But I do agree we could talk about it more, because actually without Black voters, the Democratic Party would not have as much success as they do now with gaining political offices. You're a treasure. Turn your comments off on your videos. Just upload the content. Turn my content off on the videos? Okay, we'll think about that. Jink would rather endorse a lunatic than give up the grift. I don't know if Jink is grifting. I wouldn't say that. I think Jink is very passionate about his beliefs, and what he thinks is important. And I commend him on that. Do I always agree with him? No, I don't always agree with any. That's the whole thing, guys, that we have to get away from. We have to get away from people, only having contact with or only associating with people who believe exactly as you do. I'm sure your own mom and dad or your brothers and sisters or family, you don't agree on every single thing. And that was my whole issue with Elon Musk when I did the interview. The reason you had me on the platform and you wanted me on the platform is because we had differing beliefs. And so I don't agree with Cenk all the time, and I still like Cenk, and I respect his right to be able to believe in what he believes in and talk about what he wants to talk about. But Cenk has done great things for digital media. You have to give him that. I really like to watch your channel on YouTube. I have watched all of your videos. Great content. Thank you very much, Dancing York. Oh my God, yes, congratulations, Jennifer Fox. I really appreciate that. Agenda is a loaded word, Sherry M says. Yes, it is, but it doesn't have to be a loaded word. You can have a good agenda. Just as when John Lewis said trouble, he said get into good trouble. As long as your agenda is good, it's not bad. Yes, I did see the episode with you and DL. Okay, that's a great episode where we talked about a lot of issues facing African Americans, especially what he said. Most African Americans live in the South. They live in southern states that are actually run by conservatives. So they don't really understand what a progressive agenda is like, or even what a Democratic agenda is like, because they live among Republicans. Hi from Texas. Hi, Madeline. Someone says, keep your content up. Cenk needs to tone it down. Look, Cenk can do what he wants to. I understand. The reason I have him on, again, because I like his passion. He's very informed. Again, I don't always agree with him, but we have to listen to people we don't always agree with. Don, your different beliefs is masking the truth, which is your lying. So, Kiwi Cards, I don't lie about anything. I tell the truth about things. Just because you don't agree with what I say because you have an agenda yourself, or that you have been listening to an echo chamber your entire life or lately, it doesn't mean that I'm lying. As a matter of fact, everything I say is based in truth and based in facts. I was talking to, I interviewed, what's the astrophysicist's name again? Neil deGrasse Tyson. Sorry, I had a senior moment yesterday. And there was something I said, you quoted, I quoted something from him, and he said, I didn't say that. And I said, well, I want to make sure that you said it. And so I went to look for the research, and he said, that is a journalist in you coming out. And it is. As a journalist, I have to pay attention to facts and truth. So while you may not like what I say, it is based in truth. And so perhaps you should look other places than where you're looking, and perhaps you should be more open-minded about other people having a different perspective, and about other people telling the truth. Let's see what I have here. When will you collab with Jack Lime? I don't know who Jack Lime is. Maybe that's a joke. I love that you have your own show. I love that I have my own show too. Thank you very much for that, Venice Walker. Jody Bristow says, I agree that we need to hear different opinions. Amen. Because how are you going to learn if you're constantly listening to an echo chamber? And how am I going to expand what I do if I'm always preaching to the choir, or preaching to the chorus, as they say? I agree with your stance, but you are, oh my gosh, I love this thing. It jumped up. I really wanted to read that comment. So CB says, and here's the thing, criticism does not bother me. A lot of people criticize me. I have a very thick skin. So I'm going to read some of the things that people say that that may not be so flattering. It says, I agree you need to own opinions, but there was something that I wanted to hear. Oh, I agree with your stance, but you are loud and insulting like Cenk. Okay, I don't think that I'm anything like Cenk, and I'm not Cenk. I'm not loud and I'm not insulting. There's a difference between being loud and insulting than being passionate. And listen, considering the time that we're in right now, especially, I think people need to be passionate. You need to be passionate about saving democracy. You need to be passionate about what the other person said about you lie. You need to be passionate about the truth. We need to be passionate about making sure that we have a consensus on reality, a consensus on facts, a consensus on truth. So whether, just your opinion is not a fact and it's not truth. So I think we should be abiding more about facts. As the old slogan on CNN used to go, an apple is an apple, a banana is a banana. You can never say that a banana is an apple. The truth is the truth. And you can't tell people, don't tell me the sun is shining when it's raining outside. I don't believe in that. Your interview with Elon, this is from Peggy Elias. Your interview with Elon was great. You taught him a valuable lesson. That is respect, a true journalism. I thank you for that. The thing is, though, everyone should know about the Elon interview. I wasn't trying to teach Elon a lesson. I wasn't trying to one up him. I wasn't trying to get him. What I was simply trying to do is what he asked me to join, the platform to do. And that was to bring a different perspective. That was to bring a centrist perspective from a platform that has gone really far right, and I think off the right deep end. It's gone into conspiracy theories. And so what I had to do in that interview was ask him about those things, why that was happening on the platform, if he felt any responsibility, why, as a person of import, the richest man in the world at times, why is he putting out things that are factually inaccurate? That is important. If I didn't do that, I would not be doing my job as a journalist. And for the Elon sycophants and super fans and whatever who don't believe in that, I'm sorry. That is my job to do. And rather than sucking up to Elon because I want to make a whole bunch of money because he's rich and I think that I'm going to become rich off of his back, I have more morals than that. I believe in the truth. I believe that America and the world needs an informed electorate, places where people are elected, and especially in democracies. So what I was doing was speaking truth to power, which is what journalists should do, without fear or favor, which is what a journalist should do. And I was just seeking to get information and doing what he wanted me to do on the platform. He didn't like it. He canceled the contract. So here we are. We'll see what happens next. From Loretta Banks, she says, our weakness, we have our differences, and that division takes away our strength to unite in this, I guess you meant in the end. Disagree, but vote the same to win. Okay, so look, vote your choice, vote your conscience. I agree that we should listen to people we disagree with. Doesn't mean we have to vote for those people. If you disagree with someone's policies, don't vote for them. But you have that right, and I think that's why an informed electorate is important. Any future plans to return to TV? Who said any future plans to return to TV? I don't know. The thing is jumping. Sorry. Well, this is the new television, and I am on television occasionally. I'll go on different shows. I was on The View the other day. I was on the Tamron Hall show. I was on another different television show. I was on CNN on Aaron Burnett's show. So occasionally I will do traditional or linear television, but this is the new form of television. It is the same thing. It's just a different mechanism, transmission mechanism through which we're getting it. Welcome to, I forgot about these things. Welcome to the crazy world of YouTube. Please do something about your situation in Congress. I hope you're doing well. Love from Sweden, Scandinavia. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, Congress is pretty nuts right now. If you look at the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, the Lauren Boeberts, the Matt Gaetz and all those people, and even the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who's from my home state of Louisiana, it is, it's an issue because, they have they don't really care about the truth that much, and their agenda is to, I think, really bordering on fascism. I really do, and they're following a person who is delving into fascism. Crow's Eye says Elon is so fragile. I don't know if he's fragile. I just think that once you get to be that rich and that powerful, I think that you sort of insulate yourself, and it's hard to it's hard to be asked questions, and it's hard for people. It's hard for you to sit down and be held accountable because people usually just do what you say, and you're not questioned. So there you go. Again, Peggy Elias says you're absolutely correct, Don. I have a lot of respect for you. Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate that. So Elon wants a desperate workforce. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if he wants a desperate. Um, Take that, says authoritarian rule. David Packman says, they came to me and said, sir, I just can't believe it. David, you're in the chat. I thank you, David. Listen, David has been very helpful. He is a mentor. I know that I was on, this big traditional in legacy media, but David has been out here grinding it out and being successful in streaming and on YouTube. And I really appreciate his voice and I appreciate his help. And David, during the show tonight, I was watching as it dropped and looking at the comments, and there were so many people who really loved you and who loved to hear your voice. And a lot of people were saying, I'm here for David. I'm here for David as well. So David Packman, thank you, brother. You are the man. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Trish says, I love your show with Midas Touch Network. You guys have good chemistry. I hope to see you again there. Yes. So here's the thing. Because of the work that I did in legacy media and on CNN, I had a lot of people who watched my work and they were fans of my work. Ben Meiselas was one of them. And I asked him to be on the show and he says, I will, but I just want to speak to you before to tell you what a huge fan I am and that I want to help you out any way that I can in this new venture of yours. And he has actually been doing that. There's going to be a lot more collabs with the Midas Touch Network. So stay tuned for that. Maybe even a partnership. I probably shouldn't say that, but we'll see. Maybe even a partnership. A lot of people are saying hello to you, David Packman. Jody Bristow saying, maybe I should brighten. There we go. My screen is brighter. Now I can read better. Someone says, this is Cart Gamer, YT Carter, lay off the sauce, Don, or better yet, go live while drunk. You might get more views. So here's the thing. We're getting great views. And as far as the sauce pot, I won't even give that any credence. We are close to, if not at 100,000 viewers in less than a month, 100,000 subscribers. We are punching way higher or bigger or harder than our class. I am very happy with where we are. My team is very happy with where we are. I know there are people out there. There's a report saying the Don Lemon show is in chaos and that it's failing. Our show is not failing. We're doing very well. We have a very happy team and we're loving what we're doing. We're experimenting. And you know what I love about this YouTube experiment? I shouldn't experiment, but what we're doing here is that I respect the people at YouTube. I respect the YouTube community. I respect the algorithm. You have to prove yourself here. You have to grow your own community. And that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping to grow a community with you guys. And so some shows don't get as many views as others, but that's from a number of different things. It's not, it can be because there's lack of interest. It can be because of the time of day we put it on. It could be because of the subject matter. All of that. We're not taking it personally and looking at it as if we're failing. We're looking at it as if we're learning. This is a learning process. And the better we get at this, the better our content will be in order to serve our community and to be able to serve YouTube. That's it. That's how we feel. And all of the criticism, I don't look at it. I hear about it. I know that there are people who are making their bones on criticizing me because it gets them lots of clicks. Thank you. And guess what? You are driving people to our channel. So I really appreciate you for doing that. All of you people who are out there being haters. Amy Michelle says, shout out to, this thing keeps jumping every time I get to someone's name. Anyway, she was shouting out someone. I can't get to it. Les the Best says, Elon Musk was born and raised in apartheid South Africa. How much do you think it affects his worldview? Our experiences always affect our worldviews. And I think it probably does a lot. I think that after a while, when you become a mature person, or you become an adult and you start to mature, one would think that you would develop beliefs that would help to serve your community and serve the world. I think that Elon Musk is doing that in a big way in some in some fashion, right? In some ways, but in other ways, he's not. I think he's failing the world when it comes to X. I love the free speech part, but it can't be free speech for me, and not for thee. And also, you have to be careful about what you put out there, especially as it relates to hate speech. I know it's not, he says that if it's not illegal, we don't take it down or what have you, but that is not what their own content policy says. So either you're going to be the wild, wild west, or you're going to have content moderation. There should not be this sort of, we're kind of half in and half out on it. Question for Don Lemon. Hang on here, I'm being shown something. Oh, Crow's Eye gave a donation, but it said don't mention. Sorry. I don't know what it is. You're just handing me that stuff. Tim is handing me stuff. Hey, listen, Crow's Eye, I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for whatever it is that you want to do. I don't know if you wanted me to mention it, but I'm sorry we're live. Always trust numbers. I believe in that. Daniel Day says, question for Don. Why don't you condemn Israel for killing 40,000 Palestinian civilians? 75% of them, women and children. Why are you silent? Well, I'm not really silent on that. I really haven't had a platform to be able to speak about that. I have tried with every single guest to talk about the situation in Israel and Gaza. And I believe that Israel has a right to defend itself. I do believe that. I think Hamas is a terrorist organization. Do I think that Israel needs to get a handle on what they're doing, and they, instead of it would appear that there's indiscriminate killing? I think that there should be more specific about it. Do I think that Israel needs to be, and really the IDF needs to be held accountable like any other army or organization? Yes. Do I think that our policy on Israel needs to be looked at? Yes. Do I feel terrible for all of the people, all of the victims in this war? Absolutely, on both sides. So that's how I feel about it. So I would hope that they would come to an agreement soon, and that the war and the killing would stop on both sides. I hate to say that both sides thing, but I do hope it happens on both sides. But it is concerning what's happening there. But I'm not a politician. I am a journalist, but I'm an American who has free speech, and it is concerning to see the amount of people who are being killed, especially in Palestine or in Gaza. But it is also concerning as to what happened on October 7th. And it is concerning that there are still hostages, and those hostages need to come home. And Israel needs to, Hamas needs to stop bombing and killing Israeli people, so that Israeli people can stop bombing and killing them. So there's my answer. Now, that may not be perfect, but that's my answer. We are happy where you are. Thank you, Beth H. Monica McCall says, our tribe attracts our tribe. Leslie Peterson says, your community included Taos, New Mexico. Wow. Thank you. I used to ski in Taos, New Mexico. By the way, the first time that I went skiing in Taos, New Mexico, they were bringing somebody, I hate to bring this down, but they were bringing somebody down in a body bag, and it freaked us out. That was the first time we went when I was in college. It says, let's see, I'm trying to get other people without this. Without this, I don't see a New Year's Eve. Someone is asking if I'm going to come back for New Year's Eve. Yes, I am going to come back for New Year's Eve. We're going to do a show on YouTube and probably on other platforms as well. Could you share your opinion on the Ukraine topic? Okay, so I actually went to Ukraine. I reported from Ukraine. I was there for, I think, 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. I was in the middle, not in the middle, but very close to rocket fire on a fuel depot, an energy depot. And they had to move us back. The government was concerned that us being live on CNN would actually draw that Russia would know that they hit their targets, and it would cause more unrest and more rockets to come. And so we had to deal with all of that. But every couple of hours, if not even every 30 minutes or so, the sirens would go off, the emergency sirens for bombs or what have you. And so I didn't get much sleep when I was there. But listen, Ukraine is very important. It's very important that Ukraine prevails in this war. That's all I'll say. I think Russia is doing a terrible thing, and I think that we need to support Ukraine as much as we possibly can. Could you share your opinion on Ukraine? I got that. How constrained were you from really speaking your mind on television? I wasn't really constrained that much from speaking my mind on television. A little bit, because I represented a company. I didn't just represent myself, and I represented about 4,500 employees around the world. So I had to be cognizant of that. And also, CNN was aired in places that were not necessarily democracies. And we had troops in harm's way, and we had people in harm's way. So I had to be careful about that. But I had probably the most editorial freedom of anyone on the network, especially, at 10 o'clock at night. That didn't translate to other parts of the time slots on the network, which I found out. But when I was at night on television, I pretty much had editorial freedom where I could do whatever I want. Great show. Keep it up, from Doc T's Smooth. I always felt you were authentic, from Allison C. Thank you very much. I am authentic. The same person that you see on television is the same person I am in real life. ACC says, did you succeed despite it all? How much are those paintings? I did succeed despite it all. A lot of these paintings are from friends, and most of the art in my house are from artists of color, emerging artists of color, or LGBTQ artists. So I try to support artists who are emerging and support artists who don't always get support from the larger community. Will you be going live daily, from Murdy 07 Clark, 007 Clark? Yes, I'll try to go live as much as possible. And again, I'm very open and authentic. And this doesn't have to be perfect. And I know people are going to go, oh my gosh, I was on there rambling or whatever. I'm not rambling. I'm happy to be here answering your questions. And I'm just trying to get used to this platform and talking to you guys. Miss Cynthia Mankella says, yes, I missed the night, guys. Your morning time was not the best. Not your fault, though. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Here's the thing. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you support us. Support me. Make sure you support people like David Pakman, like Cenk Uygur, like the Young Turks, like Brian Tyler Cohen. I always want to call him Brian Taylor Green, right? I think it was from Melrose Place or something. Brian Tyler Cohen and other folks. Make sure you support them and us, because otherwise you won't have independent media. Let's see. Ukraine should prevail. Yes, thank you very much. So Bobby Clobber 1 says, why marry a white guy? Because I love him. It's that simple. I mean, why not? I don't question who other people marry. I don't question who other people love. I don't have any say on who somebody chooses to love. I could have, asked my mom why she chose to marry a Creole man, but that wasn't my business. My stepdad was a great guy. I could ask someone else why they chose to marry a black man or a black woman. That ain't my business. People are free to love whoever they want, and we should be happy that they're doing it. And so all of you who are happy for me that I got married, thank you very much. I also, there's another weird thing that people talk about. Two things. A lot of times on majority black media, people will say, why did Don Lemon marry a white guy or what have you? It's like, okay, come on, people. This is 2024. We need to get beyond that. And then the other thing is, for the crazy sort of lunatic fringe on the right and the racists who will say, Don Lemon once said that white men were the biggest terror threat to the United States. They did not say the entire thing. What I said was white men who were radicalized to the right were the biggest terror threat to the United States. And you know why I said that? Because the FBI director said that. Because Christopher Wray said that. Because domestic terror is the biggest terror threat. And you know who that domestic terror mostly is conducted by? By right-wing terrorist organizations. And you know who's in those right-wing terrorist organizations? White men. So I'm not saying that because I don't like white men or because I'm racist. I'm saying that because those are the facts. Radicalized to the right, not just white men. I know people like to say that, but you're not saying exactly what I said. You're actually lying because you have an agenda and you somehow want to, make me seem like I'm a racist or make me out to be some villain or a bad guy. Let's see. So Austin's Art says, I so agree. I think people should be free to love whoever they choose, no matter who they are, and definitely without judgment of anyone, from anyone. I agree. Amen. Paul, here it is. Paul says, I am curious. Did you find Elon to be authentic regarding his position that he is also about free speech? Again, look, I don't have anything against Elon Musk. That's the whole weird thing. People think that I had an agenda. I was going to go to business with the man, right? As a content partner, as a distribution partner. So obviously I had nothing against him. Did I find him authentic? I think he believes that, but I don't think it's authentic. Here's what I think. I think that especially on YouTube and these streaming platforms and alternative media, and even on a lot of social media, I think people, they have, not that I think, I know, they are mostly majority conservative, a lot of them really far right, and a lot of them are MAGA people. And I think people in these sort of echo chambers, they get used to hearing everything, hearing the same things over and over and over, hearing their beliefs reconfirmed. And so while they may say we want to hear from other voices, they really don't, because when they do, they think that someone is attacking them just because their beliefs are different or just because they're presenting facts. So I, like Brian Taylor Cohen said on the show, I think that these spaces, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, that there should be people who are more centrist. There should be people who are more centered left to balance these spaces, because the right, I guess, they didn't trust traditional media. So they went to these alternative spaces first, and they sort of got a foothold in these spaces. But I think Elon thinks that he believes in free speech, but only when people are saying what he thinks that they should be saying, at least to him. So no, I don't think it's authentic. I think he thinks that he believes in free speech, but I don't think he actually does believe in free speech. Congratulations on your marriage from Trish. I'm so happy that my mom and dad raised me to accept everyone. I can't imagine being so hateful towards people's choices. Amen. I agree. Bobby Clobber 1. Do you believe in the FBI 100%? It depends on what you mean. It depends on the case. Were there issues with the FBI? I mean, look at, what happened with, back during when they were targeting people like Martin Luther King Jr. But here's what I will say about that. I respect our institutions, and the FBI is part of our institution, part of the justice system in this country. So yes, I respect them, and I believe that they rely on facts. I don't believe that they're perfect, but I think that they try to do good. Thank you, Video of Destruction. Vidal of Destruction. So someone says, where is the evidence on this? ACC. I don't know what you're talking about. You have to tell me what the evidence is that you're asking me about. Do I have? Oh, yes. Coleman Hughes is coming up on the show in May. You asked if there's Coleman Hughes. Coleman Hughes is coming up on the show in May, and I cannot wait to talk to him because I find him fascinating. I find him very interesting. I like that he is independent. I don't really. I have to actually. I want to read his book. I haven't read his book yet. I just know him from the media, and I hear some of the things he says. Some I agree with, some that I don't. But I really respect him, and I cannot wait for him to be on the platform so that I can talk to him. We're going to have a great conversation. I know we're going to have a great conversation, which is again what I wanted to do with Elon, but he became so upset by just general questions that he, had to leave. Um, Don, this is from Daniel Day. Don, I asked, what about the hostages, the Israeli prisoners? I mentioned that. I already said that they should be released. I mentioned that already. So Jeremy Williams says, let me stop. I'm going to stop the thing here. This is very important to me. Jeremy Williams said, Don, how is Sarah Seidner? How is Sarah Seidner doing? Do you talk with her a lot? We watch from Canada and we think about you all in good health and kindness. So it's a little bit of trouble reading because they're scrolling by. I'll get used to this. I do talk to Sarah Seidner. I haven't spoken to her in the last week or two. I owe her a text or a call. I saw her about 3 weeks ago at Kara Swisher's book party, and she looks great. I love Sarah Seidner so much. I think she is amazing. She's not only an incredible correspondent, she's a really incredible foreign correspondent, but she's an incredible human being, and I wish her nothing but the best. Cancer picked the wrong person to F with because she's going to beat it, and we're all rooting for Sarah Seidner. So she's doing great. Thank you for sending that. I will tell her that someone on my YouTube channel said hi. Let's see. Someone asked, why is the right opposed to aid in Ukraine? I don't know if the right is opposed to aid in Ukraine. Listen, there's a whole lot about the right that's lately, and I don't mean traditional conservatives or traditional Republicans, but about the people who are in charge now, the sort of far right loons. I don't have to explain to you. There's a lot of sort of weird. They're like spouting Russian propaganda on the House floor, which is bizarre to me. I have no idea what is going on there. It's a little bizarre. Listen, I see you guys, these things popping up, by the way. Thank you for supporting independent media. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I think the far right has some issues with that. And maybe they relate to Russian propaganda. I don't know. Maybe they're more susceptible to conspiracy theories. I don't know, but it is strangely bizarre. Now, conservatives traditionally have been concerned with money and spending. So I think that has something to do with it. I think there is some legitimacy. I think there's, it's a legitimate concern to wonder where our taxpayer dollars are going and and how much money we're spending. But right now, I have to say that our economy is doing great under President Joe Biden. You may not, if you listen to conservative media, you may not hear that. You may not believe it. It's the truth. Also, crime is down in America. There are historic lows for crime in America. You would not believe that or hear it if you listen to conservative media. Are there random acts of violence? Are there places in America and the cities in America that need to do better, that need to get things under control? Absolutely. But overall, crime is down, and we should celebrate when we have successes, and we should strive to do better. Let's see. Verita Day says, can you please interview Joy Behar? I will ask Joy Behar to be on. Thank you, Jordy, 1994. Thank you, SJD. I appreciate it. So Joy is a very good friend of mine. Here's the thing. People think that I have TV friends. This is the weird thing. Joy Behar is my neighbor. She lives a block from me. I go to Joy Behar's house just about every Christmas because we're friends and she's a neighbor, and she invites my family. My mom and my sister actually go to Joy's house for Christmas. So it's not a fake friendship. Sunny Hostin, who's also on The View, was her office at CNN for years was right across the hall from me. We became friends. Sunny and I used to argue like cats and dogs on television. We would fight, and then we'd go back to our offices and we would discuss it and then go have a drink afterwards. That's how it should be. We'd have major disagreements. It was great television. It's the way people should deal with things. And so Sunny's a friend. Sarah Haynes, who's on The View. I'm going to ask all these people on. You talked about Joyce, so made me think about that. And these people were at my wedding. Sarah Haynes has known my husband, my new husband, for more than 20 years now. Whoopi is a mentor who counsels me. And Alyssa Farah Griffin is she's a friend. I know her from CNN. And what's her name? Anna Navarro. Anna Navarro has been a friend for probably about 15 years now. And I was at her wedding. I spent time with her and her husband, Al, all the time. I love every single one of those women. Joy, yes, we will have on. Whoopi is coming on the show in May. And so you'll get to see Whoopi Goldberg in May on the show, and you'll probably get to see Joy very soon. Thank you, Andrea Charles. I really appreciate it. Hi, Don. Good morning. Denny Crap, where are you to say good morning? Does Joy Behar make you her lasagna? Debbie asks. Yes, she does. She absolutely does. Good evening, Don. Good talking to you, Gary Wilson. Thank you so much. How long have we got? I'm going to go just a little bit longer because we were late and I feel bad for some of you people. Lita says, question, Don, when do you get to see your Texas Hold'em dance? When do we get to see I didn't miss it, did I? Okay. No, you didn't miss it. I did it, and I feel like it's so goofy, and I feel like I would just be giving fodder to my critics, and people would think that I'm not a serious person. But here's the thing. I am a serious person when it comes to news, but I don't take myself too seriously. I do have the Texas Hold'em video. I have the cowboy boots. As I said, I have a lot of I have like maybe 4 pair of cowboy boots. I have several different hats. I have, my Wrangler jeans. I grew up in Louisiana. I had a horse growing up. So country, wearing country attire and listening to country music is it's not a novelty to me. It's not new. It shouldn't be new to you. There's so many artists that, as I mentioned, the Commodores and Darius Rucker and a lot of folks have done country before. So you guys tell me if you want to see the video, but I think it's just going to give my critics fodder, and that video will be everywhere and people will make fun of me. But I actually thought I did a really good job on the Texas Hold'em video. Kevin Trotter, thank you. Little Victor, thank you. W King News, thank you. I really appreciate it. So let's see a few more questions. Don, you're a beautiful person. Fell in love with you. Your drive and facts, etc. Thank you so much. What is my favorite book? It is The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. Why All About Eve being my favorite movie? Okay, All About Eve is my favorite movie because of the writing and the acting. It is just, and the cinematography and the storyline or whatever. It's just amazing. It's one of the best written movies of all time. I would suggest that you watch All About Eve. I just watched it the other day with Betty Davis, an incredible actress. It's fantastic. Let's see. Don, how do you feel about Nikki Haley's response to the out of her prime comment and then spent the next year campaigning saying Biden and Trump was too old? Okay, so I don't like to spend time talking about that because my thing is, and this is what I meant to say on television that I didn't quite say properly, is that I was surprised that Nikki Haley was doing to older people what society has done to women for decades, and that's treat them differently. So that's what that whole thing was about. I was surprised. I was standing up for older people because I felt that she was being ageist. And so I do feel that she's being ageist in that, and with those comments. She doesn't get to decide that when people are in their prime. I would actually love to have her come on this program and talk about it and actually clear the air, but I've invited her. She said no. But I think it would be a fascinating conversation. But basically, all I was doing was standing up for older people because I see people like my friend Clive Davis, who's 92 years old and still going strong. I see people like Nancy Pelosi, who's in their 80s and still going strong. My mom is 82. She's still going strong. John Lewis was an older man, 70s or I think 70s, and still going strong in 80s. So it's just surprising to me that could actually come out of someone's mouth. So that's how I feel about that. Don, this is from Robin L. Howard, 023. Hi, Don. I love your show. Can you do a show about the inequity of proper treatment in cancer care for African American women? Yes, I will work on that. Part of that, what I was talking about in the interview with Elon Musk was how the medical system has treated African Americans historically in this country. So to say that somehow white people were, somehow being harmed by the medical system because of minority doctors or women doctors was just ludicrous, because the evidence shows the exact opposite of that. So part of that was speaking up for people who are underserved and underserved communities, including Black women when it comes to the medical industry. But I will work on that, yes. Let's see. Watching from Canada, congrats on your wedding. Thank you very much. Don, how old were you in 1992? I was a baby in 1992. So 21, I think, was my age. Good evening. Let's see. The anti-corporatist, Antonio Teague. Oh, thank you, Antonio Teague and Charlotte Scurry, and the anti-corporatist. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Do you have a bridge kiwi? I don't know what it's. Don, does Elon regret doing that interview? Jordy, 1994. Well, I think so. He canceled the contract. I think he kind of regrets doing that interview. You'd have to ask him. Don, I'm just thrilled to see you. I'm a big fan and I absolutely adore you. Thank you, Vicky Z. Don, I see you, Pepin says, Don, I didn't get an invitation to your wedding. We had a small, our wedding was supposed to be about 50 people. Tim's family is huge. That would have been 40 of them. I would have had the opportunity to invite about 2 people. So we had to expand it. It was supposed to originally be like 90 people. And then we decided that we could open it up a little bit, and it ended up being about 140 people, and it was perfect. So it wasn't a big wedding. So thank you. Let's see. Oh, Spit Wolf. This is interesting. Don Lemon, do you think OJ did it? How do you feel about his passing? Okay, here's the thing. And I'll answer your question. The criminal court, according to the criminal courts, OJ didn't do it. According to the civil courts, he did do it. Do I think the evidence pointed to the direction that OJ did it? Yes. Do I think that the state put on a good prosecution of OJ Simpson? No. Did they prove their case to the jury? No. Obviously, if you look, I'm talking about in the criminal case. In the civil case, they did. So I would say people like Marsha Clark, and Chris Darden, nothing personal. I don't think that they presented a really good case. I think they did okay. I think they did their best. But I also think the sort of planting evidence things that came out. Mark Furman with the N-word and his history of racism and bigotry didn't help as well. I also think, as I said, people think that the OJ Simpson case was about guilty or innocence. It was not about guilty or innocence. I mean, that's at the base of it, yes. But the OJ was bigger than that. It was about race in America. The OJ Simpson case came 2 years, the murder, and then the verdict came 3 years, I believe, after Rodney King. So Rodney King had the video, he was beaten, and then the officers were acquitted. And then there were riots after that in Los Angeles, and smaller ones around the country. So people were pissed, and especially African Americans, because they believed that they were not getting justice in the justice system. They believed, if you looked at that video, you cannot say that Rodney King wasn't beaten to within an inch of his life. Now, his actions or whatever, should he have complied or all of that. But that was excessive force. I mean, you cannot say that. And for them to be acquitted, I think many people, including white people, were like, what the hell is going on? Black people were really upset about that. So this was the 90s. So when OJ Simpson came along, they said, okay, here is someone who associates with white people, to be honest, with rich people. He has access, he has influence, he is a better role model, he's famous. And so if anyone is going to get and can possibly, whether he's innocent or guilty, beat or have justice in this justice system that wasn't built for African Americans, especially black men, it would be someone like OJ Simpson. And so that case had more to do with race in America than it had to do with guilt or innocence. And that's not to say that I don't feel awful and my heart does not go out to the Goldman family. It absolutely does. But you can hold two thoughts or multiple thoughts in your head at once. So it doesn't have to be binary. So the case was about race, I believe. The case showed the divide of race in this country, showed the divide of what people don't talk about, but then they reacted emotionally when that verdict was read. So that was years and years and years of slavery, Jim Crow, bigotry, police, excessive force, and so on. That's what was coming out in that case. And so, you know, OJ Simpson, whether he did it or not, it was a big lesson to America that black people and white people in America often live two different existences and live in two different Americas. That's where I stand on the OJ Simpson trial. But also, listen, I worked the OJ Simpson trial. I spoke with Jeffrey Toobin about it the other day. I started off in news in 1991, I think, at WNYW Channel 5 on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And during the OJ Simpson trial, we created a whole show called OJ Today because there was so much interest in the trial. Basically, it was cable news on broadcast. And we went all day with every single, you know, breaking minute detail in the OJ Simpson case, from the Bronco, even before the Bronco, you know, after the murder. We started with that. And so I would work all day getting satellite feeds in, producing, getting sound bites, being in the control room, all kinds of things. That started a whole new industry, a whole new, I should say, part of broadcast media. You didn't really have legal analysts like that on television. And so what you see now at these huge panels of people on television and discussing politics and Donald Trump and all that stuff, that came from the OJ Simpson trial. So let's see. I'm going to take one more question. Hey, from Randall. Hey, Don, I love seeing you here on YouTube. I'm so glad that you have decided to stream. Also, after talking about OJ, let's hear your thoughts on the verdicts. I just did that sentences on the Goon Squad. So thank you to Craig Reeves. Thank you to Little Victor. I really appreciate it. Okay, so one more. Sarah Temp, does anybody think Neuralink by Musk is insane? I don't really know enough about Neuralink. I will say oftentimes when people have sort of radical ideas or they, you know, may think differently, people think that they're insane, and they're not necessarily insane. They just think beyond other people. So I want to raise a glass to this. We are 700 followers away from 100,000 followers. So I want to continue to build this community with you. I'm so happy that you're here. Next time we're going to do this. Maybe we'll do it again on a Friday night, or we'll do it whatever. This is my little tequila and soda that I have. I had like one sip. I'll have two. Here's to you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us. Subscribe, like, support independent media, all of my friends who are here on YouTube. And I would encourage you to even watch people here on YouTube who you do not agree with, okay? So that you can learn something about other people. Oh, someone just did like that. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. So thank you so much, everyone, okay? Make sure you tune into the Don Lemon Show and watch the episode that just dropped. Make sure you watch the D.L. Hughley episode. Watch every single episode. I'll see you next time. Bye. Take care. Love you. End.